So we know Abbie's like your biggest fan. How much were you leaning on her opinion of your songs while making the record?
It's a great question. I try to not show her anything until, in my mind, it's not done, but it's at a point where I'm like, I know what I need to do to get it done.
Right. Does she like that?
Yeah. No, she hates that.
Yeah.
She hates that. And she's a pretty good indicator of like, you know, she gets it for sure. Yeah. And she also gets me. So she'll know the biggest thing that I got to thank Abbie for in respect to the Keli Holiday project and trajectory is like she's really taught me to just trust my instincts more and more. Yeah, I love her for that. You know, I think that's a pretty powerful thing to instill within someone and remind them constantly. I think it's a good partnership, you know.
This episode of MUSICbible is brought to you by Jack Daniels. Whether it's a concert, a festival, or its history with music legends, Jack Daniels is an integral part of music culture, both past and present. From stage to glass, it only takes one sip to know what makes Jack, Jack. Hello and welcome to MUSICbible, where we peek inside the brains that shape Australian music, from up-and-comers to iconic artists and beyond. I'm your host, Jackson Langford, and today I'm here with singer, songwriter, producer, multi-instrumentalist, excellent hair haver, Keli Holiday.
Thank you very much, Jackson.
How are you, my friend?
I'm good. I appreciate the introduction.
Oh, well, it's all
especially
true.
the last, caveat.
Well, it's kind of been your thing for like over a decade now.
It has, yeah. I've embraced my curls.
You should.
With open arms.
I buzzed my hair off and my curls have gone. Don't do it.
Yeah, it looks good though.
Thank you.
I used to get my friend to shave my head, and I just have a mohawk. And I think this is the better option. You know, it's kind of the two options that I have.
I think so too, but I think if you brought the mohawk back, we'd support it.
I might do it. You know, I might fuck around and find out.
There we go.
Yeah.
So we are here today to talk about Keli Holiday, your solo project, the Oz music scene in general, and whether people are really done dancing. Are you ready?
I was born ready for this.
Perfect. But first, I have a question.
Please.
Keli Holiday, what is your first memory of falling in love with an Australian artist or Australian music?
Solid question. Sitting in the back of Davo, my best mate's father's Holden.
Shout out, Davo.
Commodore. And he was fanging it down the highway. And AC/DC Live, he would just rinse on repeat. And I remember closing my eyes while we were just fanging it. And I felt like I was levitating. And I was like, oh. And I think the fact that I think it's the greatest live recording of all time. Maybe that and James Brown at the Apollo or Johnny Cash, Folsom Prison. It's a tie between those three. But we're talking Aussie music. AC/DC Live, I remember almost being transported as I closed my eyes, fanging it down the highway to the stage.
Right, okay.
Like I could just hear Angus Young just going skits. And I remember just feeling it going, oh, this is what it's about.
Well, I feel like that's kind of the exact way to listen to that record.
Yeah, you got to be in a Commodore.
AC/DC in general.
You got to be in a Commodore for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, there's no use for it otherwise.
Is that like, has that feeling sort of stayed with you as you've like endeavored into making your own music?
Yeah, it comes back. It comes around. I think it's a good reference point as well for anyone doing anything in their life to go back to what initially made them fall in love with what it is that whatever's in front of them, whatever the pursuit is, you know.
Yeah.
And I listened to that record the other day and tears came in my eyes because I went back to when I was a young boy.
Right.
And I would skateboard to it religiously. You know, it was quite a seminal record to me.
True. Oh, that's bloody beautiful. God, gonna be emotional at 10 a.m. on a Monday.
That's the time to get emotional, you know.
Well, speaking of albums, yours debut album, your Keli Holiday's debut album, Capital Fiction, is coming out in a few short weeks from when this goes live. How you feeling? Excited? Nervous? Scared?
I'm excited. I'm really proud of it.
You should be. It's very good.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, it's the first like body of work I've done with this project that I had an intention, you know, to create something that was cohesive. And I guess every artist is trying to make something as true as they can to what they're trying to do. But with this, the intention was very clear. We kind of had parameters in the studio of what it had to fall within. And it went here, went there, went everywhere. But then where it all landed is somewhere that I feel quite proud of and comfortable with. So I'm excited.
Nice. Well, I mean, you say you were sort of operating within these parameters. To me, I was like, from song to song, everything felt quite sonically, I guess, like different from, especially like having Dancing 2 as sort of like the introduction to this project. Then we're on to Ecstasy, which is completely different. And then so on and so forth. There are, you know, ballads with really like lush strings that just I think maybe people aren't expecting of a Keli Holiday project if we're using Dancing 2 as the reference point. You explore so much. Was that the mission statement? Was that the goal? To just
the mission was to kind of drench everything in a bit of mystery is not the word at all. I think it's like, you know, very influenced by Suicide, the band, yes. Alan Vega and Martin Rev, you know, what they did with synths. Like, there's so many songs that didn't make the cut for the album, which are just like droning synths and then building chords around it.
Right.
And I don't know, it was trying to find the balance between using guitars and pianos and all the beautiful organic instruments that we all know.
Yeah, I think that's what shocked me most about the album. It was really organic.
Yeah, and then we kind of wanted to pepper it with a bit of fuckery with like synths and just drum machines and things. So we had a lot of fun doing it. But the parameters were just like, you know, does it fall in line next to it? Like for me, I think Ecstasy is a great bridging to go from Dancing to Ecstasy to then the rest of the record. You know, it kind of opens up the two ends of the spectrum.
Yeah.
One's like really hyphy, 4 a.m. The other is sitting in a park thinking about all the times you went wrong and right.
Yeah. I see that. I hear that.
So, yeah, I guess the parameters were clear and we tried our best, but I'm really proud of it, yeah.
If we go back to Dancing 2, the response has been, well, insane. Did you expect that response?
No, not at all.
It's been gangbusters.
Yeah. They really connected heart to heart to heart, which is, I guess that's what every artist wants, whether they'll admit it or not on a camera, on a podcast. You know, it's like in this day and age, everyone's like, I don't want to dance in front of a camera and do content. It's like no one wants to do that.
Yeah.
If you're a musician, you know, let's get real. But you do want your stuff to be heard. You know, I think that's what everyone wants. And to see that song was heard, and not only heard, it was embraced and celebrated and used as a soundtrack for the union of partnership, of marriage, of beating cancer, you know, celebrating survival and just like nature vids and people just dancing in general. It's like kind of became this joyous thing that was born out of using the song as a trend via social media, which I think is just awesome because it's nice to see something positive on social media.
I think it's captured this sort of universal euphoria. If I was to liken it to something similar, I would say Fred again and the Blessed Madonnas, We've Got Dancing.
Yeah, okay.
Height of COVID, and everyone wasn't dancing because nowhere was open.
Yeah.
And it felt, the response and seeing it everywhere, it felt like that. It gave me that feeling.
Yeah, I see that. That's cool.
Whereas just everyone was just like you said, embracing.
Yeah. I mean, the world is in, you know, we're not in the best of states, but we're also in the best of states. And I think it's good to reaffirm that, you know, everything ain't perfect, but there are glimmers of sunshine and we should embrace that as much as we can, if we can, you know.
Exactly. If we sort of speak further to the response, I guess some of the conversations online that I've seen are sort of, I guess, like they perceive similarities to this song and other songs that have already existed out there. What do you make of those comparisons?
What comparisons?
Well, I think one that's come up is Dancing 2, people liken it to LCD Sound System's All My Friends.
Yeah.
What do you make of that comparison?
I mean, I think I grew up with LCD Sound System constantly being played everywhere I was. I've never been the biggest fan of LCD Sound System. I dig the music, but I'm not bumping it regularly.
Right.
I think the feeling of that song, All My Friends, definitely has influenced it, definitely. But I wouldn't say in a major part.
Yeah, okay.
Someone was saying that because the rhythm goes da 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 da, that's jacking it.
Right.
And then I thought, well, if we're going down that road, we may as well fucking take our shoes off and eat them. It's just ridiculous.
No,
and then also somebody was saying that the melody was the same. And I mean, if you listen to those two melodies, it doesn't take a fucking rocket scientist to figure out they're very different.
Right.
Yeah.
There you go.
But I mean, I'm definitely influenced by LCD Sound System and the whole scene that came from that, DFA Records.
Yes.
You know, I think that's like within my veins because I grew up in nightclub culture in Canberra where that's like kind of all we had. as far as venues were concerned. There wasn't really a rock scene that was booming. It was more club music.
Right.
And DFA Records, huge influence. So yeah.
Oh, nice. And also while making, how long have you been working on this record, the debut album?
I'd say, well, technically it's my second album, but I would say the initial ideas started probably 2 years ago.
Right, okay.
So not super long, to be honest, in the grand scheme of things, but we really got down to it and got to work in Brizzy when that went on for like 8 months, I'd say, of like really just dialing, you know.
Is that typically long or brief for you?
I'd say that's quite brief. This next one, I've already got ideas. Like I've been writing demos and stuff for the next one.
For the follow-up to the album that's not out yet?
Yeah.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, and I want to... the one thing I've learned as I'm getting older is time is your best friend when it comes to ideas and knowing what's actually good. I think with anything too, with just decisions.
Yeah.
You know, if you're acting off emotion and... Because if me and you went in the studio after this and like cooked up an idea and it was good, we'd think it's the greatest thing ever for a solid 48 hours or maybe 24 hours, you know. But then that you kind of can see it from another mountain and go, is it that good? Right. You know, this could change. Time helps, clarity. So I want to give the next one some time with each idea, each process, like the demo process, the production process and everything. So I'm excited. I'm excited to be an old man that hasn't released the third album, you know. And then I will finally when I'm like 70 if I make it there, you know.
Oh, I think you will.
Thanks, sir.
But in those 2 years, sort of, I guess your profile publicly is like kind of exploded. You make up half of Australia's it couple. We all saw the magazine
it couple. There we go.
I would say so. Would the people in the room agree? Yeah.
It couple. All right.
So we know Abbie's like your biggest fan. Like
I'm hers, so you know it's a nice symbiotic relationship.
There you go.
Yeah.
How much were you leaning on her opinion as someone who's, you know, she's not professionally a musician? How much were you leaning on her opinion of your songs while making the record?
It's a great question. I try to not show her anything until, in my mind, it's not done, but it's at a point where I'm like, I know what I need to do to get it done.
Right. Does she like that?
Yeah. No, she hates that. Yeah. She hates that. Because she has, when we first started like seeing each other, I sent her a folder of like 30 demos. It was just like me and a guitar and a drum machine. And they're still to this day, I think they're her favorite things I've done.
Right.
And I don't think I'll release them. I don't know. I don't feel too comfortable about them. She loves them. And they're like little baby ideas, like kernels of ideas. Very rough.
But then they get to be, if you don't release them, they get to be yours.
Yeah. Like, but she's like, they're so good. I want and I'm like, that's when it's kind of like, I know what I want. What she wants may not align with that as far as like what I want to do with this artist project. And that's fine.
Right.
But she's so giddy for it that I love it. It's quite exciting.
Yeah.
So like if I have an idea that I really fuck with, I'll get it to a point and then I'll play it for her. And she's a pretty good indicator of like, you know, she gets it for sure. Yeah. And she also gets me. So she'll know the biggest thing that I got to thank Abbie for in respect to the Keli Holiday project and trajectory is like she's really taught me to just trust my instincts more and more and lean into more myself. Because I wrote a whole nother album with a lot of other people who are very talented producers and musicians in Los Angeles. Mm-hmm. But the problem was it was just their version of me. You know, it was like, but this is my version of me, and she'll always make sure that I'm not wavering too far from me. And I think that's
because she knows you what you call. She knows Adam.
Yeah, and like she knows that'll make me the happiest, and then in the end, you know, it's the truest, I guess.
Yeah,
and I guess as close to the truth as you could get, and yeah, I love her for that. You know, I think that's a pretty powerful kind of thing to instill within someone and remind them constantly. I think it's a good partnership, you know.
Totally. Does she ever hate any? Does she ever like? Do you ever send her stuff and she's like, "This is fucking garbage"?
No, she has actually said some shit's trash, which I like. But it's funny because there's like,
it's a little of honesty, you know. If
want
she says she likes everything, then it means less.
There's one song on the album that there was talks of it getting on this really big movie, and it was going to be the main song of this big movie.
Can you share what movie it was?
I can't say no, but it was from someone that I've idolized for a long time and yada yada. And I was like, yeah, this song is really strong.
Yeah.
And I'd always talk about it around Abbie, and she'd just kind of go a bit quiet. And I was like, oh, you don't fuck with this song at all, do you? And she's like, oh, and I'm like, you don't have to lie to me.
Yeah.
And then I think that was the first time where she was kind of like, no, and I'm like, just say it. Just say how you feel. And then, you know, since then it's kind of been like, you can say whatever you want. I'm not precious in the sense of like, you need to love everything I do.
Yeah.
Because I don't think I'm the greatest. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't think any of us know what we're doing. You know, we're all just searching for, trying to figure out what we're doing here and what it all is, you know? Yeah.
Well, it's also like I was saying, you can't, if you're surrounded by yes man or yes people, then it's hard to distinguish what's actually good.
Yeah.
You know, what's like you just like high on your own supply type thing.
Yeah, I mean, look at fucking Kanye West.
Yeah, that was my internal reference point.
Like, it's just insane. It's absurd to where he's ended up. You know, just I think so many people were just happy to be on the yay train that like he's ended up where he is now, which is just atrocious.
Yeah, well, the quality of work just is not.
The quality. That's the thing. The quality of work is atrocious as well. Yeah. Atrocious is a stretch. I mean, but yeah. It's, I think, being
compared to the standard that he'd set himself.
For sure, for sure. I mean, yeah, being surrounded by people that are constantly just going to give you the nod, it's no way to go about it.
No.
But there's also a constructive way to do so. I've learned a lot in my time, you know, with Peking Duck. We've been through a lot. You know, we got like all our money, not all our money, but a lot of our money stolen from an accountant, which he's now in jail. And, you know, I've hung out with that guy, had dinner with that guy. That was a weird experience. And
How long ago was this?
Hey?
How long ago was this?
That would have been, I've never actually spoken about it publicly. It would have been like 4 years ago, 5 years ago.
A MUSICbible exclusive, everyone.
Well, no, it was in the press. We just didn't really talk about it.
Yeah.
Like, and then we had a manager at the time who, there's no bad blood there, but like, he would say no a lot to things without a constructive way around it. And I kind of learned through that, you know, there needs to be a nice middle ground of like where there's a bit of harmony amidst saying no, where it's like, okay, why do you think that? Because, you know, no one's doing this shit on their own by themselves.
Exactly.
Everyone has something or someone, you know, whether that be God or their dog or, you know, their partner, whatever it is. Everyone needs that, I think.
Yeah, totally. I agree. On Peking Duck, if we speak about sort of longevity in the Australian music scene, you guys have really stood the test of time. When would you consider your breakout with Peking Duck was? Maybe like just over 10 years ago?
I would say, for me personally, it was when I walked down to the cafe on the corner to hand my resume in, and then I got a phone call saying our song's on the radio, and I was like, we're on.
Ah, wow.
And that would have been like 2012.
Wow, and that train just hasn't stopped. So then
it keeps chugging,
Then High was sort of
High in
2 years after that.
2014 was when we had people lining up for our shows, which was a crazy thing. Yeah.
Well, I guess what existed at that time, and we'll say 2014, what existed in, I guess, the Australian music industry / scene in 2014 that doesn't exist now that you miss?
Well, at that time, streaming wasn't really a thing. So kind of the landscape felt very different. Also, nightclub culture in Sydney was swinging. King's Cross was still alive. And there seemed to be a lot of camaraderie amongst artists. And maybe that's naive to think because maybe, I'm not in nightclubs. I'd be an old man in the corner with a sore back now. But like, I think then there was it was a different world, you know. In 2014, there was no trends on social media. People were just taking photos of walls.
Yeah, social media wasn't a job.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I heard Mac Marco say something brilliant the other day where he's like, you know, I think a lot of things went wrong when we started. You know, it went from like your username on social media was like asshole69 to like, you know, your real name. And now it's like about your branding and like your aesthetic. Whereas it used to be like just dumb shit. Yeah. Or there was nothing to prove through your social media. And I think it's like how you hear older people saying, you know, before phones had cameras in them and stuff like that. I guess it's that kind of thing. It's just an old man yelling at a cloud. Yeah. To ask me about what was different would be to ask, you know, Grandpa Abe what it was like back then. Because, I think there's a lot of power in what's happening now as well. I don't want to discredit the now. But then it just felt like, for me, I mean, it was just so much fun. I'm from Canberra, and I moved to Sydney, and all the lights were just so exciting.
Yeah.
All the people and the music, and it was just such a foreign world. I was just kind of had stars in my eyes,
Yeah.
And I had a great time, really good time.
With dancing too, has that feeling come back?
Yeah, it's come back in a different way, and I think a more potent way. I'm very blessed to have had a shot in the music game, to even have some things connect where I can sustain a living off it. It can be my livelihood in a positive way. But to have that happen once, that's rare and it's hard. But then it feels now, it's reminiscent of that feeling of like, oh, wait, this is actually like people want to hear this stuff.
Yeah.
It kind of changes the lens of it as well in a funny way, from like, you're just writing these little ditties and having fun doing it. And then once you get the response, it changes the conversation a bit. And that's not a bad thing. It's a great thing. But it's interesting, yeah. There has been moments where I'm like, oh, yeah, it's kind of a similar feeling.
Yeah, like
wow, it's nice. It's like getting a pat on the back from a few hands at once. It's like a massage. It's good.
We love chatting to the music legends of today and tomorrow, but Jack Daniels' legacy goes all the way back through to the legends of music's past. Want to know how one of the world's most famous musicians, aka the King of Swing, took his Jack? 3 or 4 ice cubes, a splash of water, a traditional rocks glass, and 2 fingers of JD. And he loved it so much, he was actually buried with a bottle of it. Already a part of music's history, Jack Daniels is now a part of music's future, helping to share the stories of Australia's best up-and-coming artists. All it takes is one sip to know what makes Jack, Jack. Keli Holiday.
Yes, sir.
Are you ready to be sidetracked?
Sidetrack me up, Buttercup.
This is a segment where we give you a prompt, just about music in general, and we pick your brain about it. And you've actually touched on yours already in the interview. It's incredible foresight. So I've got a quote for you. Everyone wants to be a DJ and no one wants to dance. This is a headline of an article written by someone who goes by Danny Offline that went viral a few weeks ago. Mm-hmm. And she was discussing this idea that there's so much focus on the creation and contribution and consumption of art that people don't want to experience it anymore.
Wow. Yeah.
Do you think the club-going generation today still wants to dance? Keep in mind, you just said you were the old man in the back of the club.
Yeah, I think humans, it's in us to want to gather and dance in one way or another. Mm. But that's an interesting way to put it. I think that's actually pretty on the money with where we're at now. Culture's changed a lot. I played a schoolies party not too long ago, and I remember looking around the room, and these young people, and no one was drinking, no one was making out, no one was causing trouble, which, on the surface, it's kind of like, oh, very well behaved, bravo. On the other hand, it's kind of like, if kids aren't dancing, I think if kids aren't dancing and getting amongst it, or they're too shy to dance, that's a bit of a problem, and that's not their fault. I'm not blaming them at all, because what it is, in my opinion, COVID fucked the world up. Mm-hmm. And I think the people who fucked up the most is that generation, that they lost those years. It will come back and it'll all be okay. I do have faith, but it's an interesting quote. Everyone wants to be a DJ, but no one wants to dance. I think that's pretty on the money, at least currently.
Well, I think it even circles back to like, I see these videos online all the time of just like, MTV footage from the 90s of like spring break or like clubs from the 90s where there's no one had a phone because they didn't exist yet. And people are really just like living for it. Do you think maybe because of phones and stuff like that people are too worried about like perception?
Yeah,
or like
definitely.
what they look like?
Yeah,
Because
definitely.
You never
definitely.
know who's,
Yeah, it's all, a lot of it's image based now because everyone's looking into a shiny screen and filming themselves. They're projecting themselves and selling themselves constantly. And we're all, anyone under 40, I would say right now is influenced by that or a victim to it by some degree.
Of course.
Whether we admit it or not.
Yeah.
And that's just the culture. That's where we're at. And with that, I remember being younger, feeling weird on a dance floor, being like, oh,
yeah,
but I think that with the additive of the culture surrounding clout culture and the likes and the follows, wanting to get up, and I think that's a combination that doesn't result in anyone feeling more comfortable on a dance floor, But I think like kids are always going to find a way to have a good time.
Yeah.
And I think their good time now is different to what my good time was then. And that's cool, because they're always going to dictate what the future is, not me,
Yeah,
So like,
true.
I got to big them up. I'm sure they'll cook something up that I'll be like, what?
Yeah.
But for now, I just want people to be happy. And I think as long as they're happy doing whatever it is, that's
Whatever
good.
that looks
But
like.
there does need to be a strict mandate that everyone must dance at all times. We got to bring that in effective immediately.
Keli Holiday for PM.
Yeah. Yeah, everyone has to dance
There
on
we
every
are.
street corner, every minute.
That's a strong campaign.
Yeah,
I feel
good
like
work.
I feel like it will work.
Good work.
Have you noticed a change in, if we go back to sort of 2012, 2014 versus performances play now? Have you noticed a change beyond just like no making out? Because
It used to
you make good dance music, so I'm surely they're dancing.
They're dancing, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm thankful in that respect
Yeah.
to play dance music and they're dancing. Thank
Yeah.
God for that.
Yeah, literally.
Otherwise, that'd be tears. That'd be curtains. I'd say there used to be a lot more debauchery on the dance floor. You'd see some pretty wild things.
Yeah.
And I think you can still catch that in places like Bali.
Right.
I feel like Bali's got, which is funny because that's also influencer haven. But I've seen a lot of crazy things happen on dance floors in Bali's. But
I guess debauchery doesn't happen anymore if everyone's filming.
yeah, I think
You never know what's going to go viral.
yeah,
What's going to make it back to mum.
yeah, totally. But I think I don't know. At the end of the day, people dancing is people dancing. The one change would be, I'm not sure. I mean, it's interesting because, a lot of people talk about like drug culture influencing music culture and like what happens in the nightclubs and what that dictates. And I'm not sure if that is really the case because all I know now is that it seems like the younger generation aren't drinking as much and, they're not getting out of their minds, which I think that's a good thing. I think there's a lot of power in that, but I think it creates a different landscape as well. And I don't think I'm the right person to say whether that's right or wrong or good or bad or what it is. It's just how it is,
Well, I guess to wrap it up, what's the one, if there was one city in Australia that you think sort of goes the hardest at a Peking Duck or a Keli Holiday concert, which city is it?
It's got to be Brizzy.
Everyone says that.
Yeah. Or Perth. Brizzy or Perth. There's something in the water. The brown snake.
5 seconds of Summer said the exact same thing.
Yeah.
They said, quote, because they want it.
They want it, yeah, they do. I mean, Brisbane's always had that in them.
Yeah.
They know how to have a good time up there.
Noted.
Yeah.
Well, shout out Brisbane.
Yeah, Brizzy, love you.
Sydney and Melbourne need to step it up.
Step it up.
Okay, this is our last segment. This is like the one I'm most excited for. We have a message in a bottle.
Like the song by Police?
Sure, it can be.
Shout out Sting. He's
Shout
a
out
tantra.
Is
Yeah, he's a tantric master.
That's a different podcast episode. But so we've got a message in a bottle. Because you're our very, very first guest, we scouted your fans for a burning question that is inside this here bottle.
Oh, it's an actual, okay.
Yeah, literally like it's what it says on the tin. So what I'm going to do is yank it out for you and you're going to read it and answer it as best you can. This is part one of this segment. It's even on,
It's an honor.
it was fished fresh from the Pacific this morning.
It's from the Pacific?
Sure.
Beautiful. Well, what an honor this is. It looks like it's been in the Pacific.
Does it smell like it?
Yeah. Blue bottles. Be honest. Sure. Okay. That's in all caps for the viewer. Very serious stuff. Be honest. Do you prefer DJing or singing? Solid quest.
If you had to choose one.
I'd say DJing because I'm not a singer. You know, people say to me,
That's not true.
I'm not a singer at all. People say to me online, you can't sing. And I'm like, thank you. That's what I want to hear. I don't listen to anyone's fucking music because I want to hear a good voice singing, ever. And that's just me. Some people do, and respect. But I'm not a good singer, and I know that. So I would say
define a good singer.
To me?
Yeah.
A good singer is someone with character in their voice that's telling the story of the song the best they can.
I.e. Keli Holiday.
I try my best in the pursuit of that. But I think people like Leonard Cohen and Bob Dylan, you know, these people that got shat on for their voice, but they're the best songwriters in the fucking world.
But I mean, if we're talking good singers, like, I mean, not everyone can be Mariah Carey.
Mariah's the shit.
Yeah. Like
but I don't listen to Mariah. I'm not going, like, sure, I'll listen to like Diana Ross and be like, damn, she can sing like a motherfucker. Or Aretha, you know, like, and they're some of my favorite artists.
Yeah.
But I'm not like, I don't think that's not the conductor of like, oh my God, they're such a good artist because they can sing so well. I'm like, no, they can fucking put together a song.
Yeah.
You know, they complement the landscape and they bring so much color to it through their voice, through the way it's about style.
Yeah, well, I know
like skateboarding.
Mariah is often like reminding people that she is a songwriter first.
Yeah,
she wrote All I Want for
Mariah's
Christmas.
Legit. Yeah. Mariah is super legit. Like, people got to put more respect on Mimi. She's about it.
Period.
Yeah, she's legit. I remember I was at an NBA game a couple of years ago, and she walked into the stadium, and this grown man stood up and just started weeping, and that's when I realized firsthand the power of Mimi. But to answer this lovely question from the Pacific, I would say
honestly, please.
I prefer the flow that I can get into with DJing, just kind of standing behind the decks for like 4 hours.
Right, okay.
But I love the awkwardness I can summon within a room from them having to watch me sing. So if I had to meet in the middle,
beautifully put.
Me singing with a DJ set up, you know?
I support it.
Right in the middle. Boom.
I support it. Well,
Which isn't really an answer, so let's just leave it in the air.
Keli Holiday tour, I know what to expect.
Yeah. Me in Budgie Smugglers with a DJ set up, like a little trolley. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I'll be the grown man crying, weeping.
Perfect.
And then you channeled Mimi in that moment.
Yeah, it'll be beautiful.
Perfect. All right, so now the second part of this segment is that you, my friend, are going to prepare. Who tied this?
Prepare the next question.
The next question that the guest after you will be answering.
Do I know who the guest is? Can it be specific?
I'm not going to tell you.
It depends how existential I want to get. Like, I was going to be like, what makes you wake up in the morning and want to continue?
If that's what you want to say.
Okay.
You've got beautiful penmanship.
Thank you, sir.
Beautiful.
Do you want me to roll it up?
Oh, go for it.
Roll it up and smoke it?
Yes, that's exactly what I want.
Yes. Well, I don't know who this is for. So.
Well, isn't that
that's
exciting?
Kind of romantic, though, isn't it? That's the whole point of the message in a bottle, isn't it?
He gets it. He gets the concept.
Have you ever seen a message in a bottle, like a real life message? No, like one in the wild.
No. Really?
Yeah.
No, you didn't.
I did. Venice Beach.
And what was it? Did you open it?
Yeah, it was too stained, so I couldn't
decipher it
out. And then I wondered to myself, is this real life or is this fantasy?
I was gonna say that feels
no.
That feels like quite like a spiritual, like magical moment, almost.
Yeah,
like
maybe it's kind of like, sure, you can find the message in the bottle, but you might not be able to decipher it. You know.
Wow.
And now we're here.
Could you please let the lovely people at home know where to find you on the internet, not IRL?
Yeah. So my address is. You can find me wherever you want to find me on the internet, on Instagram, TikTok, websites, various corners of the internet. It's Keli Holiday, KeliHoliday. And
the album Capital Fiction is out.
It's out on January. Thank you. My album Capital Fiction is out February 6th. Shout out Nick Skits. Let's get skits.
MUSICbible Australia is a Val Morgan digital production and part of the LADbible Australia network. Make sure to hit subscribe or follow so you don't miss an episode. And if you like what you hear, rate us 5 stars and tell your friends to tune in.